Well. If it isn't the best audience ever. Just kidding. Maybe you are. I don't know. I listen to other YouTubers butter their people up. They're like, if only. Why isn't it the smartest audience ever? Why, yes, Sarah. Look at them. They're so bright and virulent. Oh, they're amazing. Just simply amazing. Did you have your morning coffee yet, audience? If anyone shows up, I'm going to probably pick on them and ask questions like, how was your morning coffee? Oh. So I was laying in here and Have I told you guys a little of my background? Okay. Let me give you a little bit. I was a Christian sect leader for 10 years, in which I consider all Christian churches to be cults, and the word cult and sect, in my opinion, are pretty much interchangeable. The definition in Webster's may also agree with me. And then I became bartender and then a real estate agent. And then I was writing a book, which was a series of memoirs and short stories that got to somewhere over 15,000 pages long, we estimate, and became uneditable. During which time, my mother died after, like, when we were having the breakdown already. My dad, one of my kids, and my son Philip, and some other stuff. So I already had a whole bunch of like good friends die. Like I had Denise die, I had Thomas die, I had Christine, Kathy, some like another Tom actually. But and family members, of course, like everybody does. Like I had about 20 years ago, though, I had one of my children, I had twins, and one of my twins died in my arms at the hospital because his lungs were hydroplastic, which means that he couldn't breathe. Now, they could have tried to do stuff before he was born so that he would be able to breathe after he was born, but the stuff they would have had to do could have caused me to miscarry both babies and endangered the whole entire thing. And they said it was too high risk. So basically he was inoperable and he died, and it was intense, and I grieved horribly for 10 years. And then I had another child pass away of a fentanyl overdose. And then Philip, back in like 23, on from the autopsy, from what they could tell, he overdosed first, just some witch's holiday. And then my dad, then my mom, something like that. And my favorite uncle too. My dad was my best friend. So what happened recently was, let's see who's here. Look, it's Gremlin of the Hermesto. Is that not your? Oh, it's Geraldo. No. It's Gerardin. Gerardin. I'm trying to read your name. Gerando Hernandez Castro 195. No, there's no 195. I'm just making shit up. Are you one of the people who normally watches my channel using one of their several different handles that they make up, such as the Archbishop, Bishop Richard Foreskin, by any chance? Just checking. Not to be confused, Bishop of Canterbury. No. Anyways, back to our death talk. So I went to a grief meeting yesterday at a local area metaphysics center where they had a grief center and a Gestalt type of therapy or something like that. And Gestalt or some kind of, I have to look it up. It was really amazing, honestly. But what got me there was that as these like people were dropping off and just dying from various causes, I even started to develop paranoias that people that I like a lot just die. And so I started to be afraid to like people because several people that I like them will get sick. And then I'm like, and I started to think like, what's going on here? And started being believing that I might have the touch of death for anyone that I look at fondly. And but I'm not sure. And then I moved to this area in Yucca Valley like about 7 months ago, and I started to make friends with one of my neighbors. I visit with her maybe a couple times, 2-3 times a week, and we'd text a little bit here and there. We developed a relationship. Her dog would send me her texts at night were cute. She would send me texts from her dog, Floyd. It'd be a picture of her dog, like because he sleeps in bed with her with like a nightcap on. And it would be like, good night, Auntie. I hope you're having a good night or something like that. Or like when it was Halloween, it was like Floyd's Spider-Man outfit. And she'd be like, he calls me Auntie, her dog, via text. And so anyways, we would explore this property that we live on and different things like that and poke around. And I noticed that Sheila has like she had gone to the hospital for something and then come home and she was recovering. And I took her to the Del Taco one night. We were going to the Del Taco drive-thru. And she was talking to the guy in the Del Taco drive-thru and she was so nice to him. And it was like I was listening to her talk to the guy and I was like, I wasn't embarrassed or anything, but I was tripping because she was so innocent and sweet and naive. She was talking to him like a little girl, like super innocent. And when we got through the drive-thru, she's like, I talk to everyone like that because my grandfather told me you just never know when they're having the worst time. Sheila died. She went to the hospital with pneumonia, and a couple weeks ago, December 13th, actually. She fucking died. I was driving home and I stopped at my mailbox. And my neighbor, Catherine, was walking up across the way and she was kind of waving in the air at me to get my attention. And I had this feeling like what she was going to say was so serious that I literally stood behind the door of my car because I had just stood up from inside. You open your car and you stand up from inside to get in your mailbox without actually because I just pulled up. And I kind of stood behind the door for protection and I wasn't even going to approach her because I could see the look on her face. And I thought I was in big trouble. I can't explain it. Like I was mutely horrified of whatever she was going to say. And that I like this feeling of, oh man, this is like big trouble or something. And I just stood there and she's like, are you going to come here? And I was like, oh, okay. Sorry. You just looked so serious. And she goes, Sheila went to the hospital for pneumonia and they tried to do a procedure because she had clots in her lungs, they said. And when they did the procedure, she had a heart attack and she died. She was my new friend. So little did you know that I died. She had no idea. I mean, we were. Yeah. I have to say, like 2 weeks before she died, like a super minor disagreement. It wasn't even personal. It wasn't like she said anything bad about me or I said anything bad about her. It was just something so minor that it wasn't even a fight. It was like a super minor thing. You know how you get in a little like you're texting someone and it wasn't quite a fight. It wasn't quite a tiff. It was almost a tiff, not quite. It didn't quite turn into one. And then I thought, well, she's going to be healthy. She's fine, and this will blow over, and it's no big deal. And the next thing you know, she had passed away. So, that's what happened. So I was like, well, Sheila, you know, she's so beautiful too. Like, we were like exploring around some of the abandoned parts of the property in the old buildings, and she was very beautiful. She had this boyfriend there, and before she died, he would come by a couple times a week. And he wasn't her boyfriend anymore. I guess they were in love with each other, you know, when they were teenagers, but they went their separate ways, got married and stuff, and did different things, and then they were back together again, like 10 years ago. And then they stayed friends the whole time. So Sheila and Javier have been friends since she was a teenager, and they had like then lived together again for a while in Morongo Valley as boyfriend girlfriend, and then they were just friends again. And she and he both said the same thing. Like, he told me after she died that he's always been in love with her. He's had other girlfriends and stuff, but yeah. She died. Yeah. So like I had been having this thing where I would imagine in the morning a lot of times, like my mom my dad, my deceased children, and pretty much everyone who's passed to the other side. Like a lot of times I'll have my morning coffee and I'll kind of like imagine that they're all sitting on the couch, they're drinking their coffee, I'm drinking my coffee. We're kibitzing or whatever. We don't really use words, but still. And then I was like, well, Sheila, you're here with the rest of the crew. Now you're in the morning coffee with all the rest of the family of mine that passed away. And now I'm having morning coffee with my 0 viewers on my live YouTube channel. Oh, what's up? Someone said. Damon, come on. Big juicy orange. Tell Taco. I don't know. Do you think this audience is deserving of seeing something as cute as what I could just show them right now if I wanted to? The cuteness. Oh. Simon. This is a very cute dog. Simon. Simon. So